To pray, there's no angels where I go. Only pieces that are broken, scattered dreams across the floor. I'm home.
Alrighty, hello everybody, this is Kirusho here. Now, whenever we last left off, Midoriya had just fucking annihilated All Might. And, well, him and Mina did win. Meaning that they did at least stand a good chance against him. Recovery Girl is currently treating All Might with some of that solution Midoriya gave All Might. Now, whenever that does happen, Midoriya would have set Mina down and then look at the camera, seeing exactly what is going on, finding out that Recovery Girl is already out there. And, well, eventually, after some time, getting brought to Recovery Girl's office and being asked to supply the school with a bit more of that, well, miracle thing. Or as All Might said, the fountain water. She herself has gotten a bit of an explanation on it, and it's actually very useful. In fact, it can heal more than my quirk, and I believe that just having it on hand in case of certain emergencies would be crucial. Now, Midoriya would have understood. As, well, I believe, I'm not trying to sound rude or, well, out of nowhere, but with the fact that All Might is healed and at full power, I don't see the need for an Island event. But just for continuity's sake, I'll be saying that it does happen. So let me briefly summarize it. Midoriya would head home, go to Island, learn about everyone being there. Whenever things will happen, him and Mina would have fun, hang out, go on dates, or go on a date. Kirishima and Bakugo doing the same, and eventually he would meet with Melissa Shields, who would try and hand over a device to Mina, saying that she made it because she heard about how there is recoil or at least drawback to using One for All. All Might would have met with David. David would have been surprised to find that All Might's been healed by a form of gem technology. And, well, more things happen, yada yada yada. Eventually, at the party, things would be a bit different. Kirishima and Bakugo are dancing together, Deku and Mina are dancing together and having a bit of fun. Everyone feels a bit odd because people who they got paired up with don't feel, or well, it's just weird. And eventually, the villains would arrive. Now, as soon as the villains arrive, All Might, he would have been tied up, restrained, whichever word you want to call it, but he wouldn't have to worry about, well, I believe this is a quirk nullifying thing, so let's say that it actually is. Let's just say that that happens, and the guy who came here for the tech would have headed for the tech. Meanwhile, all the henchmen try and restrain everyone inside, until they do find out that, hey, this kid is Izuku Universe, the son of a diamond. The guy is basically getting scared, freaked out, Deku and Mina jumping directly into action. After having their dance party, well, not dance party, but the ball ruined or whatever you want to call it, the fancy party. And eventually, smashing through and going through all the other robots, Mina is able to use 100%, blasting through everything as much as she could, if she wanted to, until they do eventually come upon the scene where Deku would have thrown up his hand and immediately encased David's shield in a bubble. The guy would go to try and steal this quirk enhancing tech for All for One, but whenever he does open the case later on top of the roof, it is found that, yeah, this quirk tech, David's shield, is already in the process of destroying, since it is, well, in two pieces. The guy would get angry and mad and actually try and use his mental manipulation, along with that super strength quirk All for One gave him, to try and fight. However, he would be overpowered by Mina and Deku, working together. Then, after that happens, after all that happens, Kirishima and Bakugo, along with Todoroki, take care of those guys on the lower floors. as Melissa would have been surprised to hear that her father was doing all these illegal experiments with quirk technology, until finding out exactly why. And, well, All Might would be able to help shorten David Shield's sentence. Because, of course, he was trying to make it for a bit of a good cause. It may have been illegal, but it wasn't for a villain. In fact, it was for a problem All Might had, so at least to help preserve the peace. Along with that, he was actually destroying it. Now, with that being said, everyone would just head back to their hometown, and immediately be told afterwards that they are going to be going on a training, well, basically on a field trip. Now, I believe that does summarize everything about Island in a few short minutes. So let's begin. Now, everyone is packing up their stuff and going on the bus, along with actually having, well, a bit of a competition. They're trying to see exactly who can do what better, or at least playing I Spy. Something like that. Or they're all just messing around on their phones. Now, along with that, eventually they would stop, get off the bus, check things out, and Midoriya would have been alerted to the Pussycats. Because as soon as he does see them, he would have gotten ready. Him and Mina do jump upwards in the air along with Bakugo, who would have tried to get Kirishima, along with the rest of their classmates. Midoriya basically stopping in midair and immediately turning around and bringing it in his hands, which would make him create a giant shield, which everyone would land on, keeping them safe. Now, with that being said, they would have been a bit surprised before hearing that boy is, well, obviously, the son of Rose Quartz, or Pink Diamond, whichever name people want to use for her. Now, after that, this is whenever they would be told to make their way through the forest, along with telling Aizawa that Midoriya cannot fly, because that will be cheating. So everyone will begin. Deku basically smashing his way through the forest with Mina. Kirishima and Bakugo making a very good team. These two being able to come up with special combo moves, or moves that would work well together. Now, eventually they would get to the forest, Deku and Mina, in under or around an hour, while everyone else is nearly or closer to the 2-hour mark. And, well, it would not be a very good thing. After that does happen, though, this is whenever they would all be given raw cooking material and begin to cook. Midoriya would meet Koda, and Koda wouldn't really try and punch him in the nuts, since he was told that this kid is the son of, well, the Diamond Lady. And he's heard about a story that they once told to each other, or the Pussycats have told him, how one boy there is actually the son of Rose Quartz, and how apparently, as they would list off the ways, or an explanation for how she lost her physical form. Basically, death. Now, after that does happen, Koda would actually try and talk with Midoriya. Midoriya actually trying to help encourage him and talk with him more, as everyone would be put through 2 weeks of training. Mina would basically be doing what Ken and Deku was doing with working out and actually just blasting a wall. Now, along with that, yeah, I believe that will work. Along with that, everyone else is doing more variations and more intense versions of their training, as to try and catch up to these two. Now, eventually, after the 2 weeks, they would be put through the test of courage, and actually told about what's going on. Midoriya eventually finding out that the villains are attacking. The way he finds out is because he would have jumped up high into the air, to try and get a good look at the forest, along with actually being able to smell and see the fire, which would have prompted him to immediately just go running. He would run at super speed back to the camp and try to inform everyone, explain to them what is going on, along with All Might actually being at the camp. Now, this would be where other villains begin to introduce themselves, as you have the guy who was, well, encouraged by Stain along with Toga, and Mr. Compress, along with Muscular and Big Sis. Now, they would have all introduced themselves, except for Muscular, as Midori would hear Mandalay say that Koda is still in the forest somewhere, and he is still, well, he's still in danger. Now, after hearing that, Midori would have rushed away, basically leaping off and being able to turn on his diamond abilities, actually flying around at high speeds, looking around more. He sees a situation with Tokoyami, so he would immediately rush down and take out Moonfish, along with actually helping Tokoyami with his fire breath. Now, as soon as that does happen, he would begin to make his way around the forest, trying to help everyone. As this fake Dobby, Aizawa would still take him down, and Midori would eventually come across the scene, finding Mina trying to defend Koda, as Kodo gets sent flying off the edge, and Midori would have actually caught him, being able to create a diamond construct or a light construct, and have him on it, as he's basically just holding his hand out. And he would just land onto the ground, telling Koda that it's fine, along with seeing the scene. Mina, she is holding out her hand, and she's basically just facing off against Muscular. As Muscular would turn around, seeing the Diamond Boy, and immediately rush at him. Midori telling Koda sorry, as he would just close his hand and the construct would fall. Him and the construct going sliding down the hill, as Midori would have brought his hand up and go into his diamond mode, expecting to be able to catch Muscular's arm, as Muscular would have punched straight through it, Midori's hand basically buckling and actually making him get sent flying, as Midori would have gone and immediately just stopped in midair, rushing back into fights. Mina, she just keeps throwing 100% with her arm, the same arm that is wearing that brace. Now, with that, eventually All Might would arrive after taking down quite, well, all the villains that were over with the heroes. He would arrive and immediately do a Delaware smash, punching Muscular directly in the guts, as Muscular gets sent flying upwards into the air, and comes smashing back down. As he would look over to Mina, seeing her. She would, well, to be honest, have a bit of a wardrobe malfunction. Let's just keep it at that. And he would tell her to just, well, go to safety and get that fixed. Before Midoriya would have just come flying back in, taking off his shirt and handing it over to Mina, telling her to just go. Him and All Might can probably handle this. Her just looking directly at him, and smacking him across the face, saying that she is not running from danger. She is a hero, and she will stay a hero. As they would begin to face off, as Muscular does get back up off the ground, telling All Might that that was quite good. So, I'm guessing that you and these two runs are going to beat me, right? Is that it? All Might saying that actually that's perfectly fine. He plans on just taking him down right here and now. All Might rushing back in, and hitting Muscular with 100%, beginning to throw more force into him as Muscular would have countered with his own punch, socking All Might across the face and sending him flying. All Might recovering immediately and rushing back in, as Midoriya goes in too. As soon as he comes in, he would try and uppercut Muscular in his guts, him blocking with his arm as he basically just sends Midoriya flying with the backhand. And that would be not the end of Midoriya's story, but at least piss Midoriya off. Him recovering in midair and then charging back in, with his diamond mode getting a lot more serious, deciding it's time to throw out 100%, cocking his own backwards and, well, getting ready, throwing 100% straight into Muscular's face. Muscular getting sent flying as Deku broke his jaw. And Midoriya would actually have to shake off his hand after that. All Might and Mina actually watching him. As Midoriya would just turn to them and ask them if they needed, well, exactly how are they going to take this guy down. He's pretty sure he just bought them some time if he doesn't get back up. All Might just saying that he's going to have to go plus Ultra mode. Young Mina, I believe that this is a proper time for you to stay back. Her just getting annoyed, turning on full cowling and actually charging up, rushing away, saying that she's not going to stay on the sidelines. Now, All Might knew he should have expected that, as he would also run in directly after her, Midoriya taking off flying, as he would actually fly up close to Mina, asking her if she's okay. Her just saying that she's fine, but just let her handle this, looking to him and actually smiling. Midoriya just nodding, and saying that if anything happens though he's going to intervene. As he would fly away, beginning to go look for everyone else. As he would eventually have encountered Mr. Compress. The man is a bit odd. Midoriya is not sure why, but this man is creeping him out. Now, eventually, Mr. Compressor has stated that is perfectly fine. They've gotten all their targets now. As he would just hold out his tongue and state that his targets are quite simple and their quirks will be quite useful. Now, this is whenever Mr. Compress would hold up roughly 3 to 4 marbles. Midoriya actually watching as these marbles are Tokuyami, Todoroki, Bakugo Katsuki, and one more person. Let's say Monoma of Class 1B, because his quirk would be very useful. I'm not sure how the fuck he survived with his quirk if all for one's collecting them. Now, this is when Midoriya rushed forwards, immediately going to try and grab away at these marbles. As whenever he does so, he would just do one thing, throwing out his hand and immediately just stretching it long. Mr. Compress wasn't expecting that, and that's actually a bit creepy. As Midoriya, he would have been able to snatch some marbles out of Mr. Compress's hand, before actually trying to sock him across the face. Mr. Compress basically just dodging away and moving out of Midoriya's reach. Midoriya having to constantly just readjust his arms, before he does at least pull back the marbles he does have. And he looks down at them. He's not sure how he's supposed to get them out of there. But he does have a good idea. You compress them, right? So you break them. As he would just crush the marbles. As 2 people would come flying out of them. Tokuyami and Todoroki. Now, as soon as that happens, he would rush in again, as a portal does open up behind him. And you would see as Mr. Compressor would just back up. Midoriya coming to fly in, as he would be too late. He was not fast enough, for once in his life, and to think about getting everyone back all at once. So, that was not a good idea. Now, meanwhile, over somewhere in the forest, Midoriya has heard a large boom, and he's not too sure what has caused it. As he begins to run around in that direction, jumping up into the air and actually taking flight. He might be slow at it, but right now it's the best he's got. This is him in his normal mode, might I add. He's been able to somewhat get control over this. Now, Midoriya would land, and be in complete shock at what he sees in front of him. They took down Muscular, yeah, but you also do have the fact that All Might is holding on to Mina. As he would run over and ask exactly what happened. All Might just saying that she went too far with her power. And in fact, I believe she went up to 1,000,000%. Midoriya not really sure what that means, as he would just grab onto Mina and try and get her to wake up, or at least stay conscious. She is heavily fatigued, along with the fact that she does have a concussion. Midoriya yelling at her that she is a fighter, and that she needs to stay alive. As he would turn pink for a minute, and begin to get a bit angry. As he would just bring Mina's face up to his, and give her a kiss. As he just begins to cry. Now, Midoriya's tears wouldn't be what heals Mina. It would be his spit. Along with that, she would have, well, at least be able to open her eyes. And tell Midoriya that it's going to be okay. She just needs some rest. As Midoriya would look at her arm. It is heavily scarred up. Along with that, it looks pretty bad. Or badass. As, well, eventually people would come by. Or, well, the authorities and more heroes would come by. Actually being able to get proper reports in on what happens. And Midoriya would have been told about what's going on over with the gems. Some good news. Amethyst is returning to the crystal gems. Well, after all the bad news tonight, he needed that. Now, with that being said, I do believe that that is going to be a good point, or a good note to leave that off of. And I do hope you guys enjoyed. And, well, if you guys are wondering why I was able to summarize Island in about 5 minutes, it was because with All Might's healed, I didn't really see a need for the Island events. But I did at least include it and talk about it briefly. Just so that people who would comment that, "Where's Island?" know that it's there. Because I was recording this 3 times already, and the original thing was to cut Island, and to skip over it. But I just added it in, and summarized it, in a very short amount of time. So, for those of you who hate me for that, do understand that, please. Now, I do hope you guys enjoyed the video. And, well, I believe that I can end things off on that. I can believe I can end this series in the next part, if I am lucky. Now, I do hope you guys enjoyed.